Hey, it was good, YouTube. So UFC Vegas 28, Rozenstruik versus Sakai just wrapped up. And this wasn't the most exciting card on paper, and playing out wasn't the most exciting card, but I thought I'd just give my quick thoughts on it. The first fight I'd like to talk about is Alan Patrick versus Mason Jones. And this fight left me feeling bad for Mason Jones, man, because he was absolutely dominating Alan Patrick. And he absolutely dominated him in the first round. It almost could have been stopped, in my opinion. He was just hitting him with nasty shots, big ground and pound, and eventually the first round ended and the second round was starting, and Mason Jones picked up right back where he left off, and he was dominating Patrick, man. And then coming back after a right, he scratched Patrick's eye, and Patrick couldn't continue because he got his eye poked right there, and everybody was saying he went to the school of Aljamain Sterling for acting. But yeah, man, in my opinion, I thought he could have continued fighting, but he did get poked in the eye. So yeah, Mason Jones should have won that fight, but it wound up being a no contest because it wasn't an intentional eye poke. So yeah, that should have been a win for Mason Jones. So yeah, that sucks that was a no contest. He should be 11-1 right now. But yeah, man, the next fight I'd like to talk about was Francisco Trinaldo versus Muslim Salikov. And this went to decision. It was a close fight. But I thought Muslim Salikov won the first 2 rounds, and Trinaldo came back and won that last round, I think. It was really close, though. It could have gone either way. But yeah, Francisco was landing a lot of jabs on him, but Muslim, even though he was the bigger guy, it just seemed like he had a speed advantage. So yeah, he was just piecing up Trinaldo for those first 2 rounds, and the third round was really close. But yeah, I thought he easily won those first 2 rounds. So yeah, shout out to Muslim Salikov for that. The next fight I'd like to talk about was Santiago Ponzinibio versus Miguel Baez. So Santiago Ponzinibio, we all know he was out for like 3 years almost, and he came back and he got knocked out by Li Jingliang, and then after getting knocked out, he came back and he had this fight against Miguel Baez, who was a young up-and-coming prospect. He was undefeated, 10-0 before this fight, and shout out to Santiago, man, he still has it. I thought he lost that first round. Miguel Baez was piecing him up with that jab, and those he wasn't piecing him up with the jab. He was piecing him up with the leg kicks, and he landed a couple of nice 1-2s and stuff here and there. But Santiago Ponzinibio used the jab to his advantage, and the last 2 rounds, I thought he won the last 2 rounds. He was piecing up Baez, and that third round, this was probably the fight of the night. They were swinging on each other, and yeah, Ponzinibio was using that jab, man, effectively, and Miguel Baez, it seemed like he gassed a little bit in that third round, and he was just swinging for the fences but couldn't land anything. And Santiago Ponzinibio kept his strikes tighter, and he was landing more shots those last 2 rounds. So yeah, I gave that fight to him, and he won that fight. And then the next fight I'd like to talk about is Roman Dolidze versus Lorena Staropoli. This was a pretty boring fight, man, honestly. Roman Dolidze, I like Roman Dolidze too. He's more of a grappler than a striker, but this fight was just straight up boring, man. He just held Staropoli's back pretty much for 15 minutes and did nothing with it really, but Staropoli couldn't stop it, man. So I mean, it is what it is. Pretty boring fight. Roman Dolidze just won it off of control time, so good for him. And then the next fight was Walt Harris versus Marcin Tybura. Walt Harris came out in that first round, and he was piecing up Marcin Tybura, and the fight was close, very close to being stopped, and Walt Harris almost got that win, man, but he let Marcin Tybura get himself back in it, and then Marcin Tybura scored a takedown, and And yeah, man, Marcin Tybura had him on the ground, and Walt Harris just looked helpless on the ground, and Marcin Tybura just kept hitting him with ground and pound, and Walt Harris wasn't defending himself. He was just, at one point, he was just laying on his stomach with his with his hands behind his head, just like this, man, just trying to block shots. But yeah, Marcin Tybura finished him via TKO. So good for him, man. And I think Walt Harris might be on his way out. He might get cut from the UFC after this, which sucks because he's a good dude, you know. But I don't know, man. That sucks for him. Marcin Tybura is moving up in the rankings, and Walt Harris could be cut. So yeah, that could be it for Walt Harris. And then we had the main event, Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Augusto Sakai. I picked Jairzinho Rozenstruik to win, and yeah, man, Augusto Sakai, he was circling out right the entire fight, leaving him open for a big left hook, and ultimately it was a buzzer beater finish. Jairzinho Rozenstruik hit him with a big left hook, and it shook up Sakai, and then right after the left hook, he hit him right behind the ear with a right hook and put Sakai down and hit him with a couple of shots on the ground, but the fight was over, man. The ref stopped it. It was a buzzer beater. Time was expiring in the first round, and Jairzinho Rozenstruik finished him, man. That's what I expected to happen. I didn't expect it to happen so quick, though. I thought, I don't know, man. He just clipped him. He just perfect placement on that left and right hook, and Augusto Sakai went down. So shout out to Jairzinho Rozenstruik. They were both coming off L's, and Rozenstruik got the win, man. I think Rozenstruik, I would love to see this fight. I'd love to see Rozenstruik fight Curtis Blades next. Curtis Blades coming off an L to Derek Lewis, got knocked out really badly, but I don't think Jairzinho Rozenstruik has power, but I don't know. I think Derek Lewis's power is just a little bit above Jairzinho's, but I think that would be a good fight, man. See if Curtis Blades can avoid those power shots, and see if Jairzinho can hold up against a wrestler like Curtis Blades. So yeah, they're both free. I think Jairzinho didn't take too much damage, so he could come back soon. So yeah, I'd like to see the UFC book that fight, Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Curtis Blades, make that happen. And yeah, man, that's just my thoughts on the card. It was a little bit kind of a boring card, I'm not gonna lie, but next week we have a stacked card, UFC 263. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.